Welcome everyone to another week of MVHQ month. We are starting our week today with the NFTNerds team. We're going to have a wonderful session. We're going to be going through their platform. We're going to be addressing all questions that you guys may have, whether that's in the form of feedback, things you would like to see, what your questions are in terms of the team, their vision, all these good things today. I want to start by giving a couple brief intros from the team. So I'll give you some time to go over your entire team, Rigby.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you for having us. Always a pleasure to join these sessions, discuss NFTs with you. Just to introduce the team quickly, we are here with Serenity and Arya. So Serenity is co-founder of NFTNerds, and Arya is our marketing manager. And three of us will be in this session today.
Hi, welcome everyone. Good to be here.
Nice. Well, we'll jump right into it. For those that don't know or are new members, the NFTNerds team, we have been working with them closely for a very long time. They were probably one of our first partnerships in terms of long-term partnerships, and they've come a very long way with us through this amazing space that we, now trade in day to day. There's always new emerging tools, new emerging features, and they've done a great job at handling that and, integrating new features into their platform, whether it's through charting, whether it's through sweeping. They're always leading edge, and they provide really amazing analytics. So I'll let you go into a little bit about what it is that you guys provide. Tell us a little bit about your story, and we'll kick things off from there.
Sure. Thank you. So maybe just to do a quick intro on how we started, and then maybe move to a more interesting part of showing you a few of the latest features and what we have in plan for the future. So we started creating NFTNerds, I think, around 1.5 years ago already, so relatively long in the NFT space. And at the beginning, it was a very simple platform for visualizing the relationship between NFT prices and rarity. And we started building it because this relationship was something that we were missing ourselves. So when we first got into NFTs, we knew that rarity was an important concept when trading NFTs, but there weren't any tools that would give you historical statistics on how prices were correlated with rarity, or how listings were correlated with rarity, and so on. So this was in the first feature that we actually delivered at the beginning. NFTNerds was basically an app that was showing you a chart of price versus rank, and a simple feed of, I think, just trades at the beginning that were showing you also prices and ranks. And then we added listings as well. So that was the start. And then I think around the time we started working more closely with you, we started focusing a bit more on listings and on keeping track of listing data. And I think that was also probably one of the most important features that we implemented early on. And it was basically a live feed of listings, a live feed of everything that's available for sale. And I remember that the beginning of introducing that feature and then building additional charts, additional statistics on top of it, MVHQ was really helpful in providing ideas and suggestions how to take it to the next level, how to introduce analytics that would help you make even better decisions. And so it's been really interesting here, working with some of the best traders in the NFT space. Getting some feedbacks regarding our ideas, and then discussing this stuff with you.
Yeah, it's been quite the ride. I mean, I remember when you guys just started adding like pendings and more interactive charts, listings. They just kept getting sharper and sharper and quicker. And we were at a moment where like not a lot of people knew about the platform, and you really had like such an incredible edge, right? Like there wasn't that many tools and platforms that were providing similar services. There was a lot of them that tried to do like a super suite of tools, and it didn't work, right? Because they're not entirely focused on one specific thing that makes them the best at what they are. And I think that's something that you guys did an amazing job with. You guys were very focused on the analytical part of projects and making sure that you can track secondary very easily and fast.
Thank you. So we tried to listen to feedback early on, and I think we might have made a few right decisions regarding what to implement and where to apply our energy at the beginning, and quality of data and the speed of data seems to have been the right choice, maybe.
Yeah. So as we see, a lot of platforms emerging, it feels like almost every day, right? Can you tell us about how would you describe NFT Nerds and how you are different from all these other tools emerging, right? Like how are you setting your name in the space as different, and what you would recommend somebody that's never used nerds to use the platform as?
I think the focus is still the same as in the beginning. So we are still trying to deliver the most accurate analytics, and the analytics that allow you to make the best decisions when you're trading live. And I think at the beginning, the difference between us and other tools was maybe more obvious because there was less competition to begin with. But I think right now it's still important to focus on what you want to deliver, because if you want to, it's quite easy to try to deliver everything, and it's really difficult at the moment because in many regards the space is not ready to deliver everything with good quality, with good speed. So focusing on the right things for sure helps you to actually deliver something that works and that gives traders a good edge. And I think quality of data and the quality of the charts that we put on the page, in general, we try not to add too many things on the page. So we keep the number of statistics that we display, the number of charts that we display relatively low. But we always try to make sure that these are actually the things that help you make decisions when there's a lot of activity in NFTs. And based on the feedback we've been receiving, it's still the case. And we're still in touch with traders. We're still in touch with large NFT communities. And when we're deciding what should be the next features or how to modify the existing feature set, always keep in mind this idea that you probably don't need to know everything when you're trading. You maybe need just a few things to work really well, and that's enough.
Yeah, and there's this incredible notion that you need to have balance, right? From different perspectives, whether you're trading, whether you are the person creating the platform, or you're deciding the vision of your tool. You need to have balance, because if you are too generalized, it's very easy for somebody else to take the edge in the market, and then you're rendered somewhat inefficient, right? But if you're so hyper focused on one specific thing, then it is kind of hard to branch out into other different aspects. as people, they just become accustomed to one specific thing about your tool, right? And I think it's been great, the implementations that you guys have been rolling out throughout our time working with you guys. So could you tell me a little bit about what are some of the features that you were excited to roll out? What are some features that you guys might be testing? Guys might be thinking about implementing. Could you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So I think maybe we could start the screen share, and I could show you a few of these things in the app. Is that okay? Like, can we do a screen share?
Oh yeah, of course. Please,
right.
please.
Okay, let me just pick the screen. Can you see my screen?
Yep, stream looks clear.
All right. Okay, so you're asking about features that we're excited to roll out. So that's actually something that we can already see here on the trending page that I wanted to start with. And a few things related to pending transaction analytics were quite exciting to roll out. So here on the trending page, we show the number of pending transactions in the last minute for each collection. So we see here, for example, that there appeared 39 pending transactions in other deeds. And then look at the collection. So then they might have disappeared already. Try to see them. Okay, so they're gone already, but see there was a large sweep here. We see the pending transaction is already marked as successful here. So the purchase was already accepted on chain. But basically a few things related to analyzing pending, starting from showing it on the trending page and then showing it on the single collection page. Here we can see the actual pending transaction. Here it's confirmed already. I think it's quite exciting for users as well, because when there's a lot of activity on a specific collection, the feed of listings becomes quite entertaining because you see lots of pending transactions appearing here. You can watch live how, I don't know, someone tries to outgas another trader. So in the most extreme cases, I think we saw something like 60 pending transactions on one token, or I'm not sure now if it exceeded 100, but
on one token, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Now I see that on the stream, it's I don't know if I just don't see your mouse or it's a little bit difficult to see. But if you could go back to the page.
Sure.
Yeah. So for those that are not familiar with NFT Nerds, this is usually what you'll end up seeing. You'll see the listings as they're coming up on the left side, and the recent trades and buys, whether they're WETH offers, all of that is noted on the right side of the screen. But what he's showing right now is alpha. I used to do that, especially on like really prominent volume. Like if you're seeing, I don't know, maybe like 15 ETH on like a 15-minute candle, right? Or like insane listings, or something like a lot of like over like 100 pendings recently. Having that on, you'll start to get a feel how fast these buys are coming in as opposed to listings, right? And you can kind of gauge a sense of, okay, is it about to ramp up, or are buys slowing down? So if you could scroll up a little bit, that little checkbox right next to the price icon will actually turn on the pending transaction. So neat little feature that I really enjoy.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm thinking maybe we could go through a few features that are probably a bit more hidden, and then once we get to the standard view, I can also comment a bit on the charts, which are well known, I guess, so that we have enough time to cover the things that maybe not everyone is aware of. So going back to trending, this is something we added fairly recently. So there's a way to customize the layout of the trending page. And we give a few simple options. So you can pick the set of columns that you want to display here, and you can also change their order. And this seems like a small thing, but when we at first started making changes to the trending page, it turned out that people are really used to the current layout, and they actually like the simplicity of it. So when we were introducing new things that started appearing on the page, we got a lot of feedback asking to basically revert the changes because someone prefers the simplicity. But then reverting the change was obviously not possible neither, because there were some people who actually enjoyed the new statistic that appeared on the screen. So we decided that it's probably easiest to just make it all customizable and let the users decide what should be displayed. So right now it's the set of columns that we show, and then it's possible to show or hide the social links related to each collection. So it's possible to keep this screen really simple. I know that some traders choose to hide the charts here, because when we are tracking very recently released collections, they sometimes don't contain any useful info because the collection maybe just started trading, so 7 days of data is not that important. And then we can just look at the main statistics and the pending transactions, and that's enough. And then maybe when we go to weekly trending analysis, it makes more sense to include the charts as well. So yeah, this is just a nice feature here.
Maybe one minor thing to add is actually that the pendings itself will contribute to some collections showing in trending. So basically, it will show up in trending before any trades are made if there's a lot of pending transactions on them. So you get the info even faster.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So it's possible to see something like 20 pending and 0 trades here. So even before there is any confirmed activity, you would already see the collection here because we noticed many pending transactions. It's tokens.
Now, with pending transactions being an amazing indicator for trading, traders usually fall into the trap that is fake pending transactions. Are there features already in place or coming into implementation that they kind of flag when there's like a fake pending transaction, or are they just not shown within this trending collections at the moment? What are your thoughts there?
So we take care of fake pending transactions, and our default is to hide them. So when you open the settings page here at the bottom, I actually wanted to go through a few sections here, but maybe we can just comment on pending quickly now. So right now, by default, we exclude transactions with low max fee, and this is basically what we consider to be a fake pending transaction. So it might be a very, very large sweep with max fee set to 5 Gwei, for example. And then we had cases with a collection appearing here with, 40 or 50 pending transactions. You would open it, and then you would see basically just a bunch of these transactions with very low max fee, and then they never get confirmed, they never get cancelled on chain, so they just end up really distorting the pending data that you see on the collection. So yeah, by default, we wouldn't show them anywhere at the moment. So you wouldn't see them affecting the trending display. And then when you go to a single collection page, we wouldn't see them here anywhere, unless you choose to include them. But we haven't found a good use case for that.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah. So maybe since we started discussing settings, maybe we can open a single collection page and talk a bit more about them. Context. So another setting that we added is related to sweeping. Maybe before I go to the setting itself, I can show you quickly where the sweeping is. So we have this small widget here, which allows you to you can show it. Oh, no. Collections. Okay, so you can sweep quickly top 2, 3, 4, 5 tokens, etc. Or you can open a custom sweep and select more, up to 20 at the moment, or by setting a max price for the entire sweep transaction. And there is a pick mode as well, which allows you to select specifically which of the tokens you want to include in the sweep transaction. And something that's very handy about this quick sweep mode is that we select the 3 cheapest tokens or 4 cheapest tokens when you hover here, and that's including pseudo swap pools. And with pseudo swap, the number of tokens that you buy from the same pool can actually affect the price of these tokens. So it's not like all tokens within the pool are available for purchasing at the same price. If you want to buy 2 tokens, they would be slightly more expensive than just the price of 1 token times 2. So there's an extra charge, and that makes it quite complicated to implement a feature like this with pseudo swap listings as well. But we actually take it into consideration and always pick the cheapest X tokens that are available for purchasing within a single collection. So now going back to the settings here, I think the first set of settings for sweeping is a fairly standard default right now. So skipping pending and skipping suspicious tokens. So if you are in this view and you have pending transactions on some of the tokens, maybe I can open something that's actually active now. Yeah, and you click here, you see that the 3rd token would be skipped because there was a pending transaction for it. And the same would happen if we had any suspicious tokens. Just going through here would actually skip it and only include the valid ones in the transaction. And the same would happen here. So if there are any pending transactions on the token already, it wouldn't be possible to include it in the sweep. Okay, then fake pendings that we covered already. This setting here is related to something that's not as crucial anymore. So maybe we can move on to hotkeys. So here we have a few hotkey sections that you can enable or disable. I think gas presets are quite handy. So when you're trading, you can introduce some presets for gas. So you can have a set of like hard-coded settings that you choose sometimes, like 50 prio and 250 max fee, or there is a different mode which basically adds some way to an estimate of gas. In this case, I think the estimate is just coming from Etherscan, where they have some gas reference that should allow you to purchase a token with high probability. But it's during a very actively, when a collection is trending very actively, it's usually not enough, so you can choose here to add some extra gray on top of that. And when you define these settings, you can switch between them either by clicking here or just by clicking 1, 2, 3, 4 on your keyboard. So this is quite handy when you're trading, maybe checking something here, see some pending transactions, and then you quickly want to switch to the second custom setting to make sure you have the best chance of buying the token. And another thing that can define in settings, it's a set of custom lists of wallets that then allow you to look at the statistics here in a more convenient way. So one of the lists is your wallets. And here, if you are trading actively from several wallets, you can paste them here. And then when you look at listings or trades, the purchases or the listings from your wallets would be marked here. So you can track where your listing is placed, for example, when you sort by price, or you can see when you made purchases. And okay, maybe I can comment on the other lists as well. And aside from your wallet list, we have a few custom lists where you can select the name of the list, assign some icon to it, a color, and then paste a bunch of wallets here. And the idea is very similar to your wallets. So it's basically a list that would be somehow marked in the charts or in the feeds. And then you can quickly see that maybe someone you're tracking listed a token or, I don't know, made a sweep. And another feature that is easy to check this quickly is this advanced filter wallets here. So here we have a list of all wallets that interacted with this collection in the past. And on the left, we have a few predefined categories like top holders or whales. We can select here quickly. And we also have the custom lists that you define in settings. So, for example, if you have, say, you want to see your trades in that collection, you can select that, go back to the display, and then you see that these were your trades. They would be marked in the feed as well. And the same idea applies to all the other groups. So if you are interested, for example, what was the activity of whales in a certain collection, you can select it here, apply, and yeah, in this case, there's nothing recently, but I think you get the idea.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's amazing, especially because it could work both ways, right? You can have wallets that, when they go in, they could be a great indicator for you to understand like what kind of project you're about to get into, right? Whether it's wallets that you track that are operated by bots, whether it's traders that, might have a longer term hold, quick flippers. You can obviously identify your different lists however you see fit, so that anytime you see the icon pop up, it'll designate that specific wallet has entered this collection, and you can see these listings. So, it can help you prep for your trade at any given moment, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a neat feature. I had no idea that was implemented.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's quite difficult to discover it. Like I think we implemented it, and then we made a short announcement that it's possible to do something like that, but I don't think we covered the use cases very well. And it's probably a good idea to do that, because ever since we rolled it out, we had a few people joining our Discord server and suggesting it as a good feature, and then we would basically reply with, that's already possible. You just have to put the wallets here and then filter, and you can see your own activity or anyone's activity really in the charts and in the feeds. So this is probably something that we're going to start focusing on more, like not only announcing the features with like a short description, but also creating some use cases so that it's easier to understand what this feature actually helps you achieve in a more practical sense.
Yeah, and some feedback that just popped in my mind. That empty space that you have towards the bottom of the screen, where it shows like your Twitter icon, your Discord icon, in between that space. I don't know how difficult this would be to implement, but maybe like a running script that will talk about the most recent features that you could check out, right? Then you click on it, it'll show you like a prompt about what kind of feature you're looking at, the latest features, how to implement them, and how to work with them to your favor.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think we already have a few designs that will help us like announce it also within the app and make it a bit more difficult to miss when we add something. I don't think we found a place already where we could notify you. Maybe running feed here would be cool. Yeah. Just looking at my list now. I think there's one other thing I wanted to show here. So, another section that we haven't covered very well in our training materials so far is holders here. So, when we introduced it, it was a very simple page with basically this historical chart that shows you how many unique holders there were in the collection. And then a very simple list of wallets and the number of tokens they hold in the collection. And ever since, we actually added quite a few interesting analytics here regarding the listings as well. So when you click on the tile here, you will see how many tokens that this wallet holds are actually listed. And then how do they compare to the overall distribution of listings in the collection? And how many of the listed tokens are legendary, uncommon, or with unknown rarity? Okay, so it's also an interesting overview of maybe how this holder is trying to exit the position, or what's the distribution of the tokens and listing in their portfolio. Okay, so I think in terms of features that we considered maybe a bit hidden at the moment or just more difficult to discover, I think that's it. And if you have any questions or any parts that you'd like to cover, happy to go through them in the tool live.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a couple questions that I've seen pop up. We have one from Jake and Big. He is saying that he has noticed your tool has been on and off showing blur listings. Could you explain what the issue is here? He also provided a link in guest questions to a specific collection where there are no listings showing despite it not being restricted.
So the thing with blur listings at the moment is that it's best effort basically, and whatever we manage to show, we try to show, but it's not going to be complete and accurate data at the moment, and to probably improve a lot after Blur rolls out an API. But right now it's just not possible to have all the data live, consistent. So.
Got it. And we have another one by BTC Alchemist. Any idea on timing support for ERC 1155s? And that is a great question because recently we've seen the rise of open edition mints, and most of them are ERC 1155. So definitely want to hear your input there.
I can take that. So we've been doing a we started doing a big overhaul of how we process data, and how we can support more collections, including ERC 1155, and also how we can improve speed to really be on top and stay there. So this is something I'm actively working on myself a lot, and I hope it's a case of days right now, maybe weeks, that we'll have full support for ERC 1155 with all the charts that are available for 721 collections.
Awesome. And follow-up question. He mentions that he appreciates the intuitive layout and fast data feed. So question A would be, a collection's trade charts may be hard to read due to scale, even with the outliers turned off. Would it be possible to make the Y and X axis draggable like Alpha Sharks?
In this chart here. So add it to the suggestions. I don't see any reason why we couldn't support something like that. So we actually started introducing quite a few options to customize the display here as well. So I think like a draggable y-axis be an option here as well.
I think this chart, with small, we've made some improvements, and you can choose how you want to color your color points, like which data to use to show colors. But it's been like this for over a year now, so it's not. It maybe didn't age well, and we've been definitely exploring doing some more improvements on that front, because we like the simplicity as well. So we can't add too much stuff, but definitely we feel more and more that we need to improve what's already there and make it adjust to conditions better.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's insane overhauls that need to be implemented. It's quite literally just simple quality of life updates, just so that you don't have to travel to another website or platform to see what the data you already have in front of you is, right? Like BTC Alchemist mentioned, Other Deeds is a perfect example, right? You want to be able to see the drag through the market data that you have, because there's just insane volume on these projects. And it's a little bit difficult to discern like how these projects are doing in a very specific timetable, right?
Yeah, I'd be happy to follow up myself, just to make sure I really understand the use case, and then we can take it with the front end team. Because charts are something I was always saying that we should be as good as it possible. So if someone has feedback like that, I'd love to do it exactly, to really understand it well, and then work from that. So please feel free to reach out. Yeah.
The feedback is just being able to see the density within trades. Like sometimes there's just so many trades that you can't even see what's being traded within them from the specific dots. Like you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think you can select the window, right? You can. So I mean, I will follow up and make sure that we get it. Or if it's already possible, then we maybe will communicate it better.
Got it. Okay. And I see that we got another follow-up by Jake. Currently, Alpha Shark shows all the blur listings for the collection linked above that he provided. So he's confused by the answer that the data is not there, or did they receive special API access to blur maybe? Love your tool, by the way, and want to keep using it, but lack of listing data versus competitor has been a big issue for me.
Yeah, I can take that. So,
yeah, sure.
we've been there. There's been times when we had like buying working for Alpha Sharks. Buying wasn't working, and same with listings. So, with us not being able to really achieve good quality, and like whatever we tried, like didn't really work to the standard we'd like to see, and it was using a lot of our time. We for now decided to focus on other things, and hoping that like Blur will make it easier for other builders to show their liquidity properly. So great if like currently Alpha it works for Alpha Sharks, and if they managed to keep it stable and just make it work well, then kudos to them.
Right. So I see that obviously priority takes place in other areas. What are some of those areas that you are prioritizing over these listings, if you can share?
So yeah, go on.
Sure. So we've been cooking up another project that's not been like really announced yet, but will be soon. That's gonna like probably be as released as another app. So that's been using a bit of our energy. And then, as I said before, we've noticed that in the areas that we were known to be the best, we need to put some work to continue being the best. And that's really the other thing. And with us, like we are trying to integrate 9 marketplaces right now, and try to like really be the fastest aggregator with the best buying experience. Just trying to live to that and maintain that takes a lot of effort. And again, for the like features that we've added that Rigby discussed before, we see that that's not as important as having the basic functionalities being the best. So this kind of dictates where our effort will go.
Right. I hear you. I mean, and obviously it's a hard decision because sometimes you end up doing the work for a feature that, members might not use as much. And then, you're falling behind on the basic functions that, everybody ends up using. Right. So I hear you. There is quite a decision that has to go into that as well. I see some typing, but while we get that typing going on, any chance? I mean, you can shoot it down, but any chance you could share a little bit about this platform you're cooking up?
That would be for Rigby to decide if he wants to share anything or not yet.
Give us a teaser. Give us something.
Okay, I don't think you
weren't planning to share anything. I'm not sure if it's good to change it right now.
Yeah, so you guys, maybe I shouldn't. I spoke too soon, but it has been using a lot of our time, so that wouldn't be possible to answer your question honestly. But yeah, I think like we will reach out to you like the day that we reach out to anyone. So you'll be the first to know outside of the team.
Okay,
yeah, that's for sure.
I guess we gotta be patient. So I see the BTC Alchemist also added. It sounds like supporting 9 marketplaces is the priority. Wouldn't supporting Blur fit with this?
Also, all the other marketplaces, they provide tools for other builders to ingest their liquidity, right? So there's an official way or like supported way for access to their liquidity. And for Blur, Like we're not aware of an option like that, and that's the reason why.
And this is because most of them are fed through an API, correct?
There just exists a way, the way that the team behind the marketplace makes it possible to have a really full support, to have the liquidity in your tool or your app, and that's like not true for Blur.
So SudoSwap, for example, doesn't have an official API, but since it's just a decentralized marketplace, like an automated market maker, but the team was very helpful in understanding how their tools work, how to get listings, how to execute trades. So it depends. It can be an API, like in the case of Seaport or LuxRare, but SudoSwap, for example, has a different way of making their liquidity available to other apps.
Would you guys know how Alpha Sharks is doing this by any chance? Getting the correct information through listings?
Like we have ideas, we know what we need to do to improve it. It just doesn't really feel right. We don't feel welcome to really display Blur listings. Seeing how our efforts went when we tried to do that. So we just don't feel welcome to display their liquidity, if I may say so.
Once there's an official way, it usually takes like 1 or 2 days of coding to have the data in a really good quality already. It's not the case yet. It's not possible to provide something stable. So it's usually a lot of effort to get the data to some acceptable state, and then there is a change to the underlying API or the feed, and that breaks a lot of things. So it ends up being even more confusing in some cases, because the listings start working for a while and then they stop, and it's unclear why. So it for sure, and I'm sure that's the case for other builders as well, that the best would be an official API or an official way of ingesting the data, but we're just not there yet.
Got it. Yeah. So obviously it comes back to the amount of resources that it takes to handle, the daily changes. It might just go down, and then, you're stuck with trying to figure out and fix the current issue at hand. Meanwhile, you're building something entirely different on the side. So I understand bandwidth can get pretty limited while managing different projects. So hopefully Blur comes out with an open API soon to ease that off your backs.
Yeah, that would be great. I think they plan to do that. To just, I'm not sure if there was an ETA published already, but I've seen many questions about it in their Discord as well. So hopefully the collective of builders can convince them to roll it out soon.
Got it. Well, that's all the questions for me. I don't see any more questions in chat. I think we had a great conversation today, talking about the latest features that are very, very low key alpha. I like that you could build and customize lists, showcasing that live pending influx list that comes in through the left, kind of just putting away all the listings that they might have and just really focusing on how the volume is coming in. and kind of understanding like where your guys' heads are at. You're obviously working on another robust product. Can't wait to hear about that, hopefully soon. And yeah, very excited for the future of NFT Nerds. We have been a long-term partner, and we plan to keep it that way. And yeah, what's the best way? We obviously have an engagement forum discussion where any member can reach out to the Nerds team and provide feedback. But is there another place where we could also reach out to you? Is that through your Discord? Is that through DMs? What's the best way to get that direct feedback back to you?
Our Discord. We're also in MVHQ, so you can tag us in discussions. We check it daily. So if you have any ideas, any questions, just tag us and we'll reply or get in touch with you to get more details.
Yeah, even if we don't respond, we track and listen. So I know there is a dedicated channel, and we probably just should be better at responding, but we see all the feedback that's coming in there. So that's also okay.
Wonderful. Well, I'll give you this moment to just maybe say anything that we didn't cover that you would like to touch on, or just give us some closing thoughts as we wrap up today.
I think we covered everything we wanted to cover. So yeah, thank you for having us. Thank you for the questions, and hope we can continue in your engagement chats and in our Discord, and continue to listen to feedback and deliver the stuff that's most useful for NFT traders.
Wonderful. Well, you heard it here, and I want to emphasize, in order for teams to develop features that you like, they need to know what you want, right? So feedback is always precious. I definitely recommend engaging in conversations with the team. If you have issues with the platform, you should definitely share that instead of just keeping it to yourself and maybe getting frustrated with the platform. They could work with you and improve the platform for your own benefit. So I just want to thank everyone that came by. Thank you for your time. For the listeners, thank you for tuning in at a later time. And thank you to the NFT Nerds team for stopping by today and asking all these wonderful questions and new developments that you guys are working on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Guys. Cheers.
Thank you guys very much. That wraps it up for today. We do have another event later on today at 8 p.m. Eastern. We will catch the rest of you in VC1. Thank you.